Managing Subject Matter Experts in the Courseware Design Process by David Norris. Subject matter experts are referred to in this presentation by their acronym SMEs. All still images in the presentation are PowerPoint clip art, and all videos are self-produced. Author David Vance has observed successful learning organizations are proactive bodies. He notes that the proactive and effective management of other subject matter experts, or SMEs, is a critical component of successful learning management. Performance consultant Paula Alsher cautions that projects with mismanaged SMEs can cause projects to never be completed, go over budget, or produce an end product without the substance to guarantee the skills attempting to be trained, or even create conflict between training and line management. North Carolina's self-appointed e-learning goddess Jane Bozarth points out that typical SME management is to assign the person who has been doing the job the longest as the SME. However, that person may not be the best choice of SME because they often have just too close a view to the project. They may also be carrying years of bad practices, workarounds, or war stories. Another typical problem when such individuals attempt to function as SMEs is their difficulty in understanding that the course under development is merely trying to get a new performer up to speed, not to create another SME. Such attitudes towards course development can often lead to scope creep. Software developer Linda Hayes notes other common lack of interest SME problems. Problems such as those who have no interest in the project, either because they have no incentive to participate or they aren't really bought into the project's goals, or they have no time in their work schedule to be able to devote to the project. Performance consultant Paula Alsher has experienced SMEs that are mismatched to project needs. In such a situation, such SMEs lack knowledge and expertise key to the subject area, or, what can be even worse, perhaps they lack desire or enthusiasm about the contribution they offer the learning. So, how to avoid these problems? Many different best practices are recommended by industry experts, but first and foremost among them is not assigning just any SME to the project. Rather, they recommend assigning the right SME to the project. The time and effort invested in finding the right SME for the learning development project is considered very much time well spent. ASTD Press recommends the best practice of surprisingly not using the person with the most seniority or experience in the task to be trained. Rather, some of the best SMEs are those with recent content experience. In this case, recent meaning 1 year or less experience in the subject matter. Such people offer the unique advantage, says Jane Bozarth, of remembering what it is like not to know the material or the task, and also what having to learn it is like. Further, to reduce the risk of conflict during the project, the ASTD Press recommends asking around. Find out which SMEs have a reputation for being the most cooperative, and conversely, avoid those which have chances for personality conflicts or have demonstrated lack of patience. Industry experts also recommend the following best practices for the design team when interacting with SMEs. Firstly, prepare. Bozarth recommends designers read, study, and become familiar with the content area so they're able to talk competently and informatively with the SMEs. Such competence in the design team will also create credibility and respect amongst the SMEs. This will help you to ask the SMEs the right questions. Questions like, can you provide examples of situations where the learner would use the information and how often they would use it? What are the consequences for the learner if they don't know how to or don't perform a particular item? And what are the common mistakes and the resulting consequences of each? Secondly, many industry experts recommend being respectful of the fact that the SMEs are often very busy people. Paul Alsher in the Center for Effective Performance recognizes that it's important to realize that SMEs are often considered experts in their field and are frequently called upon within their own organizations for complex and time-consuming activities. Thirdly, author and blogger Lindsay Ammett recommends the development of excellent interviewing skills as they are an absolute must for effectively engaging SMEs. Basic knowledge of the content combined with expertise in interviewing will allow the designers to talk informatively with the SMEs, asking the right questions of them in an engaging way without boring or frustrating the SMEs. In closing, these techniques and best practices will help your design team attain its goal of creating an experience that for each SME is rewarding for them in their organization, causing minimal disruption to their day jobs, and while at the same time keeping each learning development initiative on track towards a successful launch.